Good morning, everyone. So good to be here. Do not be fooled by the fact that we're starting exactly at 9 a.m. It's an impressive thing. It speaks to all the wonderful people we have in the room. So thank you for being here. My name is Sam Meldon. I am the director of strategic engagement at the Ability Center, and I'm honored to be here to really serve as the MC to get things rolling. So I just want to say thank you to all the people that are here, both in person and then also virtually. Thanks to the media for being here. Key stakeholders and board members and donors, thank you so much to the Conda family for being here. Your presence it just makes the morning all that more special and exciting. And to all those joining us on the Zoom call, thank you for joining us in that manner, which allows us to have a safe event here today to announce this really exciting partnership. This is a really exciting day. We are gathered here today to announce a new multi-year strategic partnership between the Ability Center of Greater Toledo and the Toledo Museum of Art. This partnership is designed to eliminate barriers people with disabilities may face here at TMA. And in just a minute, we will hear from the two leaders of both of these organizations to talk more about this exciting endeavor. But before that, I just want to point something out. We're here to talk about the future, intending to show what this museum can become, what our community can become when we all do our part to increase inclusivity and accessibility. We're here today to look forward. However, we cannot miss a chance to look backward just for a second. After all, this partnership is 100 years in the making. As the Ability Center just celebrated its centennial year in 2020, it's pretty amazing and fun to think about that 20 years before that, the world-renowned Toledo Museum of Art was born. We all now know about the legendary support of the Libbies that founded this great institution, but I would guess that fewer are aware of the way in which the Ability Center, too, is a part of the Libby legacy. Over the years, as societal barriers facing people with disabilities evolved, so too did the focus and the direction of the Ability Center. In 1931, for instance, the Ability Center operated as the first hospital and convalescent home for children with disabilities, which was made possible through a gift from the Edward Drummond Libby estate. Then, and this is the cool part, in my opinion, as so many donors and supporters continued in the footsteps of the Libbies to invest in the Toledo Museum of Art, its quality of collection, its innovative and extensive education programs, and its architecturally significant campus, the need of those with disabilities shifted once again, this time toward education. And in the mid-1960s, the Ability Center, now operating as a kindergarten for kids with disabilities, took up residence at the Libby House, a few steps away from where we are. In fact, I can see it from where I'm standing. And one of those students learning to read and write, a member of the inaugural kindergarten class, was a young Tim Harrington, who a few years later, not giving away numbers or ages, but a few years later, here today, is going to, at that table, sign a memorandum of understanding. And his signature will be written next to that of Ad Levine, the director here at the museum, whose professional title bears the same Libby name where the kindergarten that Tim went to so many years ago. I told you, it's a partnership 100 years in the making. While I love reflecting on the history of these organizations, today is actually about the future we will create. So enough from me, let's get to it. First, I would like to introduce the Executive Director of the Ability Center, Tim Harrington.
Thank you very much. As the Ability Center pursues a vision of creating the most disability-friendly community in the country, we do this with eyes wide open that we cannot do that ourselves. Partnerships will be critical to our success, and we applaud those organizations who have accepted this challenge. Today, we celebrate a new partnership with the Toledo Museum of Art. This endeavor would not be possible without the leadership of Adam Levine and his team. It takes organizational strength and commitment to pursue becoming the most disability-friendly museum in the country. The Ability Center applauds you. We applaud your efforts. For persons with disabilities, it is more than curb cuts and wider doors. It is about feeling welcomed and enjoying the beautiful things that life has to offer. TMA is now a part of that dream. Thank you.
Thank you, Tim. Now I'm excited to introduce the Edward Drummond and Florence Scott Libby President, Director, and CEO, Adam Levine.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you so much for being here. Welcome, media. Welcome, elected officials, community partners, directors of the Toledo Museum of Art and of the Ability Center of Greater Toledo's boards, both here and on Zoom. I want to thank Tim Harrington for his decades of leadership. Leadership is not defined by whether someone claims the mantle of a leader. It's defined by whether someone is willing to follow you. And Tim has been a quiet but impressive impetus for change in this community for so long. And I am indebted to you, Tim, for creating the substrate off of which this partnership will grow. So thank you, Tim, for everything you've done for this community. And it has been, as I was telling you, one of the great privileges of my early tenure to be able to overlap and be able to do this work with you and initiate this partnership. I also want to thank Sam Meldon for being an instrumental part of working this through and helping coordinate the expertise on the Ability Center side of things to get us to this point today. And of course, it takes a village, and the same was true on the side of the Toledo Museum of Art. Special thanks to Mike Deach, our Senior Director of Learning and Interpretation, for his assistance in helping us think through the operationalization of this program, and of course to our communications team and our IT staff for supporting us even during a global pandemic to bring you news of this partnership today. I also want to look backwards for one moment and thank my predecessor, Brian Kennedy, because his foresight was instrumental in giving the museum some of the resources required to think about ongoing support for accessibility. So I have deep thanks for Brian and his efforts in helping to facilitate the outcome that we will be discussing today. But last and certainly not least, the most special thanks goes to Judith, Joseph, and Susan Conda, who are with us today. We have so many friends worthy of thanking, but for those of us who've worked with the Condas, they quickly become more family than friends. Their generosity focuses on helping people navigate their lives. And with the 400,000 visitors the Toledo Museum of Art receives every year, making us one of the most visited art museums per capita in America, the impacts of this gift will reverberate through this community and beyond for years to come. Thank you so much, Conda family. As you heard Tim share, the museum is an important part of propelling our community towards the Ability Center's objective of becoming the most disability-friendly community in this country. The museum is an important partner, but we're more than that. We are, I believe, the right partner to initiate this project. The Toledo Museum of Art has a new strategic plan, one that has been approved by the board and will be made public within the next month. Central to that plan, and to a lot of museum thinking at the moment, is that the Toledo Museum of Art will become a model for our authentic culture of belonging, one that ensures the museum is made to feel welcoming, comfortable, and irresistible for anyone. Executing this plan will take time, but our partnership with the Ability Center of Greater Toledo, which is unique among art museums, is a major step forward. So let me explain to you what exactly it is that makes this partnership unique. The substance of this collaboration is the creation of a new position, the Manager of Access Initiatives. The position is a joint venture. It is co-funded by both the Ability Center of Greater Toledo and the Toledo Museum of Art. TMA's contribution has been generously funded by the Conda family. Both organizations have been involved in drafting a job description, which will be posted today, and both organizations will be involved in the interview process. The Manager of Access Initiatives will be a full-time employee of the Toledo Museum of Art, reporting to our new Director of Belonging and Community Engagement, a role for which we are currently beginning interviews. The Manager of Access Initiative's job will be to audit every aspect of the museum's operation over the course of 3 years, making recommendations for how to redesign museum operations inclusively. The Manager of Access Initiatives will consult on the implementation of his or her their recommendations. Funding has already been designated to ensure that the museum can execute the recommendations that the Manager of Access Initiatives makes. It is our expectation, though, that after 3 years, though the Manager of Access Initiatives position will continue at the museum, the individual that we hire will revert to the Ability Center of Greater Toledo as an employee who has developed the know-how and expertise to change organizations like the Toledo Museum of Art for the better. And that expertise will then be offered to other organizations in this region and potentially beyond to help increase accessibility at those organizations, and in so doing, abet truly the most disability-friendly the most disability-friendly community in America. This partnership will advance the museum, contributing to our development of a culture of belonging, but this partnership, we also believe, is replicable, both across the museum field and, as I just mentioned, across this community. We are honored to formally launch this innovative partnership, and we thank you all for being here in person and remotely to acknowledge this leap forward towards accessibility and inclusion. One of the markers of success will be, just as Tim began his education just down the road and will be initiating this partnership today, is if my successor in due course, right, is someone with a differing ability. We are committed not just to creating a wonderful visitor experience at the Toledo Museum of Art, but creating pathways through the organization, making sure that our culture of belonging is pervasive in every aspect of what we do, and we simply would not be able to do it without this position, without this collaboration, and without the support of the Conda family. So thank you all so much for being here again, and we will be taking questions shortly. In the interim, we will be formally signing the Memorandum of Understanding that will bind us together. So please allow me to disinfect the podium, the world in which we live, and then I will matriculate over to the MOU to sign it, followed by Tim. Thank you.
Well, this is a glimpse of what a disability-friendly community looks like. And I'm just so glad that we were able to be here today. Thank you again so much for everyone who was able to join us on Zoom and on Facebook Live. You know, we have to do things a little bit differently in times like these, but really your time and attention to this is really incredible and important. And thanks again to the Conda family for being here. Adam and Tim will be available for any questions from the media, and Stephanie will help make sure that stays in order. Thanks again, everyone.